Hey guys, I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, I'm going to talk to y'all a little bit about this botched assassination with Trump. In a previous video, I said where I caught all kind of slack for, or flack, or whatever y'all want to call it. I said this right here, in my opinion, just my opinion, done solidified him to be the next president of the United States. I still honestly believe that. A couple of things I'm going to talk about on here before I show you a video I seen that, went with what I was saying. I told you before that they said, I think heads are going to roll and they're going to do an investigation. They're going to blame a lot of people now. Like you've seen, they're blaming the Secret Service. Now they talk about there was a police officer that saw the gunman pointed the gun at him, he ran away or something like that. Either way, the man was still shot, which was uncalled for, whether you like him or not. But I will say this. Let me show you these couple of videos, and I'm going to talk about something that'll be key. Because tonight, they're having a National Republican Convention out there in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Shout out, Milwaukee. And there are people in droves out there protesting, different, political things like they always do at these conventions. They're out there with signs and stuff. And I told you before, when they have any type of assassination attempt on a high political figure, they change the way they do things. Take a look at some of these videos that I'll run them concurrently so you guys can see them. And it'll make you think about what I'm about to tell you after I get back.
Here in Pennsylvania, the intense investigation into the assassination attempt continues in Butler County. And that is where our Barry Pintar is live this noon with what he's been hearing today. Barry.
Yeah, a lot of unanswered questions, but we are starting to get a glimpse of exactly what happened live here in Butler County, you just said, John. And you see all these houses next to me, and I'm showing you that because as we swing around, excuse the telephone pole on the way, you're going to see we're right across the street from that flag, which right under it is the location where former President Trump was speaking when a shot was taken at him. So I want to talk about perimeters because this is the new information that we are learning thanks to one of our reporters here at KDKA. When there is an event like this, what is known as the inner perimeter, and I'll show you a map that might make sense. As you see on this map, you're going to see where the president was standing. That stage area and those seating areas is what is the inner perimeter. That falls under the jurisdiction of the Secret Service. Keep it safe, keep it secure. But once you get out of that inner perimeter, you'll notice where it's marked the shooter was positioned. That is called the outer perimeter or the outer circle. So who is in charge of that outer circle? Because we know that's where the shooter was. Well, we come to find out that in charge of that outer circle, we're talking about the state police, the county sheriffs, and the local municipal police. So the questions today now move away from the Secret Service, though granted, they're in charge of the entire thing. But in terms of that shooter, who we've heard before, people were saying, hey, there's a man. Hey, there's someone with a gun. Hey, there's someone on the roof. That now falls under that outer perimeter jurisdiction. We've come to understand that a local municipal officer began climbing a ladder to reach that shooter, and Jennifer Barrasso, with her interview with the county sheriff, picks it up from there.
All I know is the officer had both hands up on the roof to get up onto the roof, never made it because the shooter had turned towards the officer, and rightfully and smartfully, the officer let go.
All right, so that is incredible new information that we're hearing. We actually had a local municipal officer approach the shooter, but when the shooter turned, he withdrew. Was that the right thing? Jen also asked the sheriff that. He said, absolutely, that is what he should have done. Nonetheless, because of that withdrawal, the shooter was then able to turn his AR-style rifle with a clear shot toward the president. So, John, where does that leave us? That leaves us with a lot more unanswered questions. Should he have withdrawn? Should the Secret Service have been a part of all that protection? Did they scope this area out well enough, including this field with all these rooftops that we're hearing about? Was this even an okay location to schedule the rally in the first place? And John, I'm just going to leave you with this. Just a few moments ago, I had a local man come up to me, talk to me, and he said, hey, I wasn't at the rally, but my wife was. And listen to this. She's still, days after, so upset about the rally, she can't even talk about it to me. So certainly, unanswered questions, and people in this area still very shook up about what happened.
Yeah, without a doubt, Barry. Thank you very much. A lot of people still very upset. And as we are learning more this noon about the shooting, so are the investigators. They're canvassing our region to try and figure out what happened in the hours ahead of the assassination attempt. That includes talking with people in Thomas Crooks' Bethel Park neighborhood. Chillicothe Adele talked with them as well and joins us live there now. And Chili, it sounds like this area has been, well, just look behind you, incredibly active.
Yeah, John, good afternoon to you. There is a frenzy of media outlets all over this neighborhood, local outlets, national outlets, even some international outlets. I've seen people from Europe, I've seen people from Canada coming here to report on the story, which just kind of underscores how big this story is. Here's Thomas Crooks' home. You could see it. There's the red car and the blue car in the driveway. And I've been here since around 4:15. Mostly it's been reporter noise today, up until about 9:45, 10 o'clock. A few SUVs rolled up to the street where Thomas Cook and his family lived on. I saw about 4 men. One had a patch that read Pittsburgh, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and then SWAT was written between those two things. The FBI split up in twos from the 4 men I saw, knocking on doors to no avail in a lot of cases. Now, one of the pairs led into the Cook's home, left after a few minutes. The FBI also approached 2 people hanging out on one of the porches over here around where we're standing, and the feds asked a few questions and left. Now, the people on the porch, there was kind of a scrum that came up to them. They said that they didn't know much about Crooks and his family. Now, we spoke with them after. Here's what one of them, his name is Steve, had to say.
I don't feel any particular culpability to it because I live in the same neighborhood. I think everybody is shocked and surprised, maybe not as surprised as we should be, but shocked that this kind of thing happened. And I think we all hope that this will be the end of it and we'll get to a position where people can have regular, polite discourse about their issues rather than pulling out a gun and climbing on a roof.
Yeah, so they said they didn't know much, and it's interesting, too. It's like one of the questions I asked to Steve is the idea of how do you feel all this is happening in your neighborhood? And part of it is that they're looking for answers just like we are looking for answers, just like the world is looking for answers right now. Right now, they seem hard to come by. I want to note this from our Andy Sheehan. Thomas Crooks bought 50 rounds of ammunition for the gun the morning of the shooting. That's been confirmed by our lead investigator, Andy Sheehan, but definitely describing what we've seen this morning. A frenzy is probably the word to describe it. Live in Bethel Park, I'm Chillicothe Adele, KDK TV News.
This country's so divided on so many levels. I don't know how they're ever going to get back together.
I put this at the feet of President Trump because he's been sowing division, animosity, revenge. That's the energy he put into the atmosphere.
Too many people are just anti-Trump. The left is painting Trump in a picture that isn't right.
Leadership needs to pull themselves back and quit being so hostile.
In our society, with guns so readily available, the idea that somebody demented, not well, should try to assassinate a public figure is not a surprise.
Weaponry like that is just, it's not acceptable. And hopefully this brings our country together. We've got to resolve our differences.
If people just sit down and listen and talk to one another and become more open-minded, I think that would help.
Somewhere along the way, we've gotten hate and disagreement to mean the same, and they don't. When we disagree, we still can communicate. But when we hate, we don't want to have anything to do with each other.
Pleased that President Biden reached out to Trump and said this is not acceptable.
We have come together in the past with Kennedy, with Reagan. Pete's sakes, we went through a civil war. I believe is one fortitude of this country is we always have the ability to do that.
Those are some of the videos that I wanted to show you. The first 2 talking about how a 20-year-old kid was able to get up that close to him and who was in charge of what part and the whole investigation. Somebody dropped the ball, heads are going to roll. They got to blame somebody for that because, I mean, regardless of how you feel about the man survived, got up, threw his hand up, and that stuff was huge. Because I'm going to tell you, the second video you seen where everybody was talking and they all made valid points. Shout out to all of those people that were interviewed. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of this is still a country a lot of people want to be in and believe in. Now, I'm going to talk about 3 things. I wrote them down here that I believe this thing backfired. And, you know, just this kid's actions, right? It backfired and made it to where it catapulted him to the next president. First thing is this: he survived it. Not only did he survive it, he jumped up. That man's 70-something, 80-something, I don't even know, I know he's old. He jumped up, screaming, fight, 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 whether people liked it or not, or say it was fake or whatever. All the stuff he talks about with taking a stand and not taking, you know, doing all of this stuff, it polarized who he comes off to be. It does. It's just like somebody in the street getting shot, a famous celebrity, and jumping back up and doing whatever they do. It polarizes their position. Love him or hate him, and I'm talking about Trump. When he jumped up and did that, that inspired a whole bunch of people. Now, watch. As he goes to this convention tonight, after being shot 2 days ago, this will probably be the highest rated Democratic convention that's televised ever. Because people just want to tune in to see what his ear looked like. Now, he didn't already arrive there, which it'd be later on tonight. And media swarming already. This is a huge story of survival. He was looking at a teleprompter, and he happened to turn his head at the right time. If he hadn't turned his head and was looking straight when them bullets came, I'm more than sure it took the back of his head off. Another thing is this. Check out the timing. I don't know the correlation of when that cop interceded with this gunman shooting at him, but it must have been that split-second delay might have saved Trump's life. Either way, that's the first thing. He survived that attempt. And you know Trump is brash. He's going to be turned up tonight. And people are waiting. You see, he already setting it up. Hey, I'm grateful. I'm thankful. You ain't heard nothing from him. He's sitting back, letting everything grow. How's the president? Bunch of people talking, everybody but him. Now, he's the headline tonight. He'll come out there and he'll talk. No matter what he say, they're going to scream to the high heavens. The Republicans is going to push him because he's considered a hero to some people. He survived, and everything he talks about and says, it'll be backed by his what he went through. Look at today. Look at earlier today, guys. A judge threw one of his cases out. Think about that. 2 days after being shot, they threw one of his cases out. Setting it up. That's the next president, whether you like it or not. Seriously, whether you like it or not, that's the next president. Another thing, second point. Joe can't match that. Moving forward, Joe can't match that. How do you match that? He got shot. And 2 days later, he's at the convention. That's a hell of a story. Joe fighting to stay in office right now while he is president because of his current condition. What is this on my lip? I don't know. I think I bust my lip or something. I don't know. But anyway, it's just crazy. It's crazy. Third point I'm going to make before I get out of here is this. The guy that did this to him, right? Now you seen that video that was shown, you know, where they talking about the neighbors and stuff. Respect to the family. They didn't know he was going to do it. He went and did all of that. And it's messed up because he brought shame on his family. And he brought a negative he cast a negative shadow over Butler, Pennsylvania. And it's not their fault. They'll forever be known for the place where Trump got shot. That's the thing. When you do stuff out here, and this guy's 20 years old, don't know nothing about nothing, you know, before he went out in what he thought was a blaze of glory. When you do stuff like this, man, we never look at the web of confusion and sadness it brings. This guy has stained where he was from, and he put a stain on his parents' name. And they didn't deserve that. And that's the whole thing is foul. But I'm gonna tell you, I'll be watching this Republican convention tonight, and I'm sure they're gonna play this to the gills tonight. So y'all stay tuned and take a look at it. I would be shocked. This is just me. I would be shocked if he's not the next president. Now, he done nominated his running mate or whoever the vice president candidate or whatever, J.D. Vance. I don't know who the hell that is. But you're going to see a spectacle tonight. So stay tuned. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Region channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.